Hello, my name's Gavin. This is Genre Books. It's Tuesday. It's Tag Tuesday. So, an original tag from Book Chat with Pat. This is the booktube community joy and gratitude tag. I'm a lucky booktuber, and I'll begin with one random piece of gratitude that I'm aiming towards MJ at Reading This Life. MJ provides a public service video series called Support Small Booktube, where she will highlight a number of channels each week, all of whom are new to the platform. Those channels get a small bump in their viewing numbers. She dispenses advice on first impressions of the channel where that advice is needed. And back in February, she put Book Chat with Pat and my channel on the same video. So we saw each other's videos, we reached out, we said hello, and that's the way I met Pat. I am sure I would have found her channel regardless, but thank you to MJ for making the introduction. Well, you can't call Pat's channel Small Booktube any longer. This tag was created by her to celebrate her passing her 2,000 subscriber milestone. There are 7 prompts, so let's get to them. Prompt number 1, joy. Name an author whose books bring you joy or discuss a specific book that made you feel joyful. Well, I'm going to take it back to the beginning of my channel. I've been a bit busy with a couple of booktube events in September and Victober, which have not lent themselves to this particular type of literature, but I need to get back to it because this is one of the things I wanted to do from the very beginning, which is talk about pulp literature. So I'm going to talk about Planet Stories. Planet Stories, a pulp magazine that came out from 1939, I think, to 1954. 70 odd issues, and deals with sword and planet science fiction, more of the space opera type of science fiction. Less of the hard science fiction or cerebral stuff that's going on in John Campbell's world. This is just monsters from Venus. Ray Bradbury, C.L. Moore, Philip K. Dick's first published story. There's a lot going on here. Authors you know, authors you don't, but absolutely uncomplicated joy. Prompt number 2, discuss something about BookTube that you find joyful. Pretty much all of it, but it's no great insight. Primarily, I think the reason people stick around and continue making the videos is the generosity and the community of this part of BookTube. People are supportive, people are generous, people are communicating with people who comment on their videos, even the larger accounts in this part of BookTube, in the same way that this doesn't happen in other parts of YouTube. There was recently a few videos that I saw looking at the idea of competition in BookTube. I think this began with Books I'm Not Reading, who had seen a number of videos from YouTube professionals. I don't know how you would describe them, but they're saying that you're in competition with everybody. Any other content creator is not your enemy, but definitely your rival for eyeballs. And that really doesn't apply here. Take this tag. Everyone doing this tag who has been tagged by Pat or tagged along the line is doing this because Pat has got to 2,000 subscribers. No one is posting these videos through gritted teeth. Everybody is happy for her. Everybody recognises that it's well deserved. This is a proper YouTube community. This is a proper community in the same way that it absolutely isn't if you look at many other subjects. And because we're talking about books, we can talk about something different. Everybody is pretty much talking about something different. If you're stuck on a sports YouTube channel, you can only talk about the games that have happened that weekend. If you have a channel which is looking at the latest entertainment news, you're only going to be concerned with the biggest breaking stories because that's what all of your competitors will be doing, and you need to try to garner the most hype noise about your video. This encourages hyperbole. It encourages those dreadful gurning thumbnail photos. I'm sorry, no one has reacted to a Phil Collins video slack-jawed, starry-eyed. So don't pretend those are your reactions. What I like about booktube is that we are genuine. We're also doing something we love. So many channels on YouTube, and thankfully I found out how to mute them. I can get rid of them whenever they pop up on my timeline. Seem to be relishing just the idea of putting other people's stuff down. We are not uncritical. We will all come across stuff we don't like from time to time, but by and large, we are talking about stuff that we love. We have sought these books out because we wanted to read them. We haven't hate read anything like people seem to hate watch television. Watching a film knowing you're going to hate it, or scrabbling around trying to find a reason to hate it purely because of the clicks you think you are going to gather off the back of your vitriol. And you can take that and apply it to pretty much any other stream of social media that you have going, except we won't be talking about the latest show from Disney Plus. You'll be talking about people who are in charge of running countries. Booktube is a calm little port in a tempestuous sea of tosspots. Prompt number 3. Discuss a book that focuses primarily on friendship. I'm going to choose a book where it is all about the friendships, although the friendships get quite complicated, sometimes fairly one-sided and sometimes destructive. And that is Brideshead Revisited. I think it was only March, April that I read this book. I've read a lot of war previously. This one had always escaped me. I just didn't. It's like Woody Allen. I prefer his early, funnier stuff. But this book certainly does have a number of different types of friendships. Lots of these friendships are on the surface. Some of these friendships are born out of infatuation. You could almost call it, if not unrequited love, unrequited friendship. People are taking advantage of other people. People are mistaking love for friendship. Sometimes they're mistaking friendship for love. It gets messy. It gets complicated. And yeah, I'd recommend the book to anybody. Prompt number 4. Discuss an author or a specific book that makes you laugh. I'm sure I've spoken about this series before. I'll speak about it again in the future, doubtless. I think I first read it when I was 11 or 12, and it's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy from Douglas Adams. So, I don't think I've read all of them. I've read the first 4 of the trilogy, which is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, The Restaurant at the End of the Universe, Life, the Universe and Everything, and So Long and Thanks for All the Fish. And they're all fantastic. There are just so many ridiculous ideas presented. Off the top of my head, my favourite ones is the SCP field. There is no invisibility cloak for spaceships in the Douglas Adams universe. You have an SCP field. You can land a spaceship on a cricket ground, which I think happens in the 3rd or the 4th book. No one can see it because of the SCP field. SCP stands for somebody else's problem. Basically, they engineer it so that everyone can see the spaceship, but it chooses to ignore it because that is somebody else's problem. You have the rock star sat at the end of the restaurant at the end of the universe, who is spending a year dead for tax purposes. You have the refugees from the I think it's the Golga Fringians. Basically, the entire civilization gets into 3 mighty spaceships and leaves their planet. The elites, the leaders are all in one ship. The workers, the Canavite backbone of society, is in the second ship. In the other ship is everybody in the middle. So you have all the insurance agents, all of the hairdressers, all of the PR people, and the convoy unfortunately loses this ship and they get stranded on a planet, and you can imagine how they're unable to fend for themselves. Not only are they intrinsically funny books, they were something that I think science fiction needed to ensure it doesn't get too po-faced or take itself too seriously. Prompt number 5. Discuss a book where the idea of community is important. I'm going to choose a Western. I think possibly when you first think of Westerns, you're not thinking of the community. But the frontier, you really do have to rely on the community, unless you really are going it alone and you do not need much. If you are going with your family, you're travelling or settling somewhere, you really do need the people around you. If you look at the wagon trains, you need the people with you when you are first journeying out. Mostly because there's already a community that lived in the land, but I'm going to look at The Warrior's Path by Louis L'Amour, which I think is the 3rd book in his Sackett series. Barnabas Sackett, the first of the Sacketts that we focus on, has by this point finally founded his community. He's picked the spot. This is where the new town is. There is not much there at that point. There are a few dwellings. There is a wooden stockade. But the community and the community spirit is an absolute necessity. There is a reason the stockade is up. They could be under attack. I think they've built it in case they're attacked by local Native Americans. But eventually they come under attack from another enemy, and they need to pull together. There are community leaders here, but everybody pulls their weight. Prompt number 6, discuss a communal reading experience you've had. Well, I'm going to take my most recent communal reading experience, which was Victober, which was the group read of The Doctor's Wife by M.E. Braddon. This group read was quite organised and regimented, which I did appreciate. There were chapters you were supposed to be reading on each day. On the Discord, the Victober Discord channel, there was 2 chats, spoilers and spoilers free. Everybody stuck to those rules, which was good. And everybody had broadly the same feelings about the book, which I won't spoil, but started off very comedic, went very melodramatic. I don't do a lot of the group reads, but I'm glad I did that one, and I am very much looking forward to one coming up in the new year, because it's a book I've been wanting to read for some time, and that is Proust. Greg, another Bibliophile Reads, is organising this group read, and we're going to take all year over it, I think. But we are reading the entirety of Remembrance of Things Past, or Lost Time Regained, or whatever it is that we're calling it, whichever translation you're paying attention to. Prompt number 7. Name a book in which a character demonstrates real gratitude, or name a book that left you feeling a sense of gratitude. Well, I'm going to take the second of those options, and I'm going to take the second of those 2 options, and I'm going to choose a non-fiction book, one that I've read recently, and that is The Mushroom Jungle from Steve Holland. On the face of it, it seems an odd choice, but there is story after story here of small-time, innovative publishers working on such fine financial margins in order to get literature out into the world, in order to bring new writing into the public domain. Publishers who at some points are risking and enduring prosecution, fines, imprisonment, because I would say they believe in the literature they were printing, because they're doing this for to make a buck. But the result of their struggles is the survival, the innovation, the countercultural or subcultural genres that we can still enjoy today. They didn't have to do this. Some of these guys were taking just fresh back from the war. They take their payout and invest it in trying to get a few books published. Not every piece was a great work of literature, but that's okay. These publishers did ensure that there was a choice for the public at the time between what was deemed appropriate for the citizenry to be reading, and what might be not always morally edifying, but a damn sight more fun. And that is the end of the tag. Thanks to Pat for tagging me and creating this tag. I'm not sure there's anyone left for me to tag. This one seems to have gone through the booktube community like a madras curry through a baby, but I will see if I can find someone who hasn't done it and tag them. Until next time,